Hello and welcome to another tips and tricks video with Eliza. The last video is outdated now that they changed a whole bunch of things for Eliza. This didn't happen that recently, but I feel like I need to update that video, so I'm making this one. This is not going to be an in-depth guide. This is meant for a new player that just started playing this game, or a not so experienced player that wants to play Eliza. So they have a place to begin with. So the way I'm going to do it, I'm going to go through her normals, specials, supers, neutral, a little B&B you can do, resets, and talk about her game plan and some matchup. But I'm not gonna go that in depth into it, and the game plan is going to be here and there throughout the entire video. So her normals, let's start with her jab. Her jab is her fastest normal, 6 frames. And so up close, this is the button you want to be mashing, if you want to be mashing in that situation. And since it hits 3 times, it's pretty easy to confirm with, so that's pretty nice. Aside from that, she has other normals, like her other normals, light punch, are not that special, I'll go into them later. Light kick is your best low, because it goes pretty far, as you can see. And it combos from max distance with crouching medium kick, which is great. Now I'm on crouching medium kick. Medium kick, this is mostly combo tool. The second hit used to knock down, now it doesn't once they were in the air, like this. Well, Well, it used to knock down, it doesn't, so you can always do the second hit. So that's pretty nice. Crouching medium punch is like a really fast medium punch. Crouching, well, it's just 1 frame faster, but it's fast enough for some of her confirms to be a little easier. And it has a little bit of a vacuum effect, as you can see. And you can go into standing heavy punch pretty easily. Standing heavy punch is a button that is a disjointed hitbox, and you can just throw out in like this range. And if it hits, you can combo pretty easily. The third hit pops and knocks down, making it not that easy to combo. It's easier if you can combo from it pretty easy in the corner though. Her standing medium punch is an anti-air. It is her only button really that the hitbox comes out first and the hurt box later. So the red box comes first and then the green boxes. The green boxes means you can't get hit from those, but as you can see, throughout, after it hits, you can get hit. But it's not like a be-all end-all anti-air, because as you can see, it's very vertical. It doesn't hit in the horizontal range that much, so a bunch of hits that are not on top of you, you might whiff and you might get punished pretty bad. So it's a very situational overhead. It's a very situational anti-air, but it is a great anti-air nonetheless. You just gotta make sure you are pretty close to your opponent when they're in the air when you want to throw this out. So her standing heavy kick, this is a combo tool, neutral tool, and mix-up tool really. Because as you can see, she steps forward and it goes pretty far. And it also goes pretty high. There, the red box went pretty high there. So just throwing this in neutral is not that bad. Same as this one, but again, you're gonna have to get a feel for it and how your opponent is approaching you. If you're too far away, this does nothing. But if you're like around here and you know your opponent, you have the read that they're gonna jump at you, you can do this preemptively and go into a special or something to catch them off guard and punish them for trying to approach carelessly. So that's pretty nice. In the air, light punch is your main air-to-air. It's very active, as you can see, but it doesn't have that much range as others. And it's not that easy to confirm as other characters. It's still easy to confirm, but it's not the easiest to confirm. Usually you wanna like shotgun it into light medium punch, like light punch, medium punch. And as you can see in whiff, nothing comes out, but on hit, if you jump, you can bring them to the ground. But as you can see, like that combos. But if you are way more in the air, like with a super jump, it will not combo. So if you air dash and do light kick, heavy punch, that can actually help you with that. Light kick like this hits crouchers, but if you're jumping on the way up, light kick, it's not an overhead. So this is not an instant overhead. If you do this, it's basically to just keep pressure on the opponent, not really to mix them up. But if you instant air dash it, it becomes an overhead. It's usually your overhead starter most of the time. Jumping medium punch, as you saw, is mostly a combo tool, as you saw, because it brings them down to the ground. Like, it brings them down. Even if they're going up and you hit them, it will force them to go into a downward direction. So it's mostly a combo tool. Medium kick is the new player's trap. You see this medium kick, and that's kind of all you do. You do this as a new player, because you're like, oh my god, it's so active, it's out there, it's so easy to do. The problem is that the button, the hurt box extends first, as in most of her buttons. Like, the green comes out first, and then the red comes out. Meaning, they can hit you first, then you can hit them. So, a good opponent, or at least someone that is putting buttons out there and challenging you in the air, there's a high chance that they will hit you out of this. So you're gonna be careful with it. This was one of the reasons she wasn't that good back before they changed a bunch of things about her. So be careful about that. Heavy punch, you've seen it. This is an instant overhead. It's slower than if you just do the instant air dash into light kick. I do it too fast, so it doesn't come out, but that's faster than this, I think. So, but from this, you can go into more overhead and so on, and it's kind of hard to get out of it because of how the air dash goes into an upwards direction. So even if they push block you, when you're falling, you're still going forward on her air dash. You know, you notice how she goes a little bit up. Because of that, getting Eliza out of your face is not that easy, which is pretty good. Jumping heavy kick is also kind of a neutral tool, combo tool too, but it suffers from the same thing as medium kick. It extends the hurt box first. So, and it causes a knockdown no matter what it hits. Like hard knockdown here. But if you already use your red bounce, it doesn't do the red bounce. Also, it doesn't do the hard knockdown in the air. You just bounce. On the ground, if you hit, that's a hard knockdown. But you're never really gonna do that. It's pretty rare for that to happen with Eliza. And last but not least, her crouching heavy kick, her sweep, is a boat that goes really forward. And it has armor, but it is projectile specific armor. This will not work. And it only has one hit, as you can see. But all that recovery, you can cancel it into whatever special you want. Like her DP or any of her other specials that I will go later. But it is not hit invulnerable, that armor. It only works against projectiles, so can't do that. I messed up. There you go. I got counter hit, so be careful with that. Jump in will just kinda destroy you like that, specifically because you cannot do this one to cover yourself directly from above. And her DP is not that good defensively up close. So those are her normals, those are kind of what you want to be doing with them. Her specials, you already saw a couple. Let's start with this projectile. This projectile used to be really bad, and you never really saw it used. Now you see it a little more, but you still don't see it that much. This projectile ignores other projectiles, which is really good against other zoners. And the reason it wasn't really that used, it was because its hurt box was too big. Now its hurt box is not that big, and now it is more likely to hit, or at least to make the opponent block. So basically you use this in situations where your opponent likes to throw projectiles and you still have room to breathe to do this. That's what you do. That's quarter circle forward light kick. Medium kick is Horus dive. This is an overhead that you can combo from. It's a little slow. As you can see, it is, let's see. Right there it hit like in the 19th frame, which is not great. Yeah, and if they're crouching, they have a couple more frames to stand up and block it, because it can go further down without it actually hitting. And the animation is pretty distinct, so you won't be catching that many people with this. You could try to go for like low overhead as a type of mix-up thing, but again, this is also kind of like a combo tool and also a neutral tool, because if they're jumping in the air a lot, this can catch them, because it comes from all the way up in the screen. It actually spawns at the top of the screen and then comes down. So it's pretty nice actually for neutral too. It's also a combo tool, like I said, a combo starter too. And if you do quarter circle forward heavy kick, you will actually go into a command grab. This is a command grab. It used to suck because you could just walk backwards and it wouldn't hit, but now if you are walking backwards, it will still hit. As you can see, and you can combo from it. It scales really hard. Your next combo after you do that won't do that much damage. It's hard scaling, but it's because it's a command grab. And now the opponent actually has to backdash or jump back, or actually forward dash or just jump any direction to actually deal with it. It's actually pretty nice against when you know when your opponent is actually doing their push block. After you push block, you're in a little more of a block stun than usual. So if you get push blocked and immediately cancel into this, there's a high chance you might catch them with it. You won't catch them repeatedly because they'll know what you're doing if you do it too much, but you might catch them by surprise that one time and, you know, seal the deal. One of her other specials that you have already seen is her DP, which is jump cancelable and hit invincible. It is not grab invincible. It's only hit invincible, so you can't get grabbed out of it. Let me show you. There we go. There you go. It was coming out, and I grabbed. There we go. So just be careful with that. She doesn't have like a true reversal aside from her level 3, and her level 3 is not the best level 3, but it does a lot of damage. So it's fine. It's a fine level 3, which I'll go into later. But you keep pressing. If you do light, the first one comes out. If you do medium, the second one comes out. And if you do heavy, the last one comes out and pops. And the last one is the only one that's jump cancelable. And it being jump cancelable is actually really good, because if you are like pressing a button, you get caught pressing a button and your opponent says, I'm gonna punish that with a super or something. In this game you can whiff cancel, so let's say you go into this, whiff cancel. And if it hits the opponent, it's really good, but if the opponent's super is like a projectile or something, this also hits projectiles. And invincibility is enough so you can jump cancel it backwards, so you block it. You immediately block it. You do this, and you immediately block what they were doing. And if it's an armored move, again, it hits the armor, and you can jump it. You cannot jump cancel from a block though. That would be broken. But there you go. And again, you can throw this like from here, since it makes you invincible and you're not at a risk of being grabbed here. Just throw this at max range is super difficult to punish. It is technically punishable by a lot of characters, but it's so difficult to punish that it's basically safe against most people. And if you hit, you can try to confirm like this. So it's a really good thing, but the reason why I was telling you that her defense ain't that great is that if they're jumping around here, let me show you the hitboxes again. Oh, there we go. There's a whole death zone on top of her that is not being covered by the DP. So if they're close to you jumping, there's a high chance this will miss and they will just counter hit you with a fat punish. Just be careful with that. But it's still one of the best utility DPs in the game. Also, if they know that they will probably like be jumping and calling an assist on pressure, and there's really not much you can do because the assist covers for this and the jumping already covers for this, so she has a little bit of trouble in defense, but she's not the only character with defensive troubles in this game, so that doesn't make her bad in this game. That just makes her have some weakness that other characters don't have. Another special is her Iris. This is a combo tool, you already saw it. Like after this one you can combo, so you can do a string, this one, into another string. You can link it with light, it's a pretty easy link. The game actually helps you with that with its buffer system, which, you know, pretty nice. And the medium one, I'm not entirely sure what it's for. I never really see it used, it's just kind of there, it's unsafe and everything. Oh, this also is safe on block. This is like your safe on block move. But if they push block you, it's gonna be a little bad because, you know, it stays quite a bit. They push block on assist. They might be able to catch you and punish you. Most likely they will just take their turn back from you. So you might want to do something that I'll go into a little bit later with her game plan. So look forward to that. There's a way to circumvent that weakness. So if you want to jump into that right now, you can do it. And her heavy one is her combo tool and one of her best assists because it's a lockdown assist and it does quite a bit of damage. And it's a combo tool. Like this is your this into super and that's your combo end, which is really, really nice. Now, her unique mechanic I actually didn't go into in the last video because I didn't really use it. The cost of using it was too steep. Now, the cost is not that steep anymore. It is steep, but it's a worthwhile risk. So Skeleton, when you take Skeleton out, your life starts to drain, which let's go into health setting to start with. There we go. Your health starts diminishing, and if you use the Skeleton moves, the bigger the move, which is just light, medium, heavy, there are no variations with heavy punch or kick. Punches and kicks have no variation, the strength it is. As you can see, I just lost almost all my life, so that's crazy. And you might think that's too steep, and how is that not as steep as before? Before it consumed meter, and meter is really important in this game, meter management. And consuming meter just didn't make it worth it for you to use it. Now it's still super risky to use because you can get a fat punish on you, but you can actually get your life back. But before I go into that, so light punch here, it's 3 of these slashes, medium is this stabs, and heavy it's this overhead. So before you couldn't really do much with those, and if all of these were punishable, a lot of people still did not punish them for some reason. A lot of people won't punish you even at high level play. I see people not punishing things they should be punishing. So on hit or block, you can backdash to keep yourself safe. And why is this very important? Because you have hyper armor with this character. So let me just like do that. Nothing. I can go through it no problem. Like whatever hit they do, you will take damage, but you can literally just tank anything and everything in skeleton form. And you can grab it, of course, as you can grab any armor. You might be, that's a little too strong, isn't it? Well, You can also sweep it. And sweeps against Skeleton pop you into a purple bounce, pink bounce, making the opponent be able to punish you. So you'll basically get a heavy counter hit into a fat punish. So be careful with that. Every other time, I know there's every day at least one new player, someone skeletons them and just bullies them because the opponent doesn't know that they can grab or sweep the unsafe stuff they do. You can actually also I could just do that. Snapback. And the snapback, you know, if it's just the last character, will combo, and I think it just combos anyways. You test it. This video is going long enough as it is. So there you go. That's how you counter it. That's how people can counter you. Don't get bullied by it. But in the air, she has this going forward. That's her light, which is really good neutral control in the air. You can jump back. Oh, you wanted to go forward? Boom, I hit you. On the air, medium is an overhead. Oh, also this is an overhead. The light. This is a complete full-on overhead. And the heavy is kind of like a conversion combo tool and neutral tool, which I'll go into later. Let me get my health back. I just show you how that worked. And you know, you can do cheeky things like, this is like your usual starter, like into combo. But if they know that and they're blocking, you can go, oh, I went into overhead, what are you gonna do about that? And if they block it, you can go, oh, they blocked it, I'm out, I'm here with a hyper armored skeleton that's pretty hard to deal with. But as you saw, you wanna get back to Eliza pretty quickly. You don't wanna stay out in neutral that long because the health cost is pretty big. But here's the thing. Skeleton heavy is not backdashable on block. I'll show you. On hit, it's backdashable, which allows for some cheeky burst baits. But on block, it is not backdashable and it's -10. It's super punishable by the entire cast, basically. So, going to your sweep, depending on how fast your sweep is, it's -10, as you can see. So your sweep has to be at least like 9 frames. It's a 24 frame sweep. She doesn't have that good of a punish, but her grab actually goes pretty far. Gonna grab? No. Yeah, there you go. Goes pretty far. So if they're close enough, you can just grab them out of it. And if not, you can go into this. Because if they're close, the backdash won't be enough. They have to actually space it out well for it to not be punishable. But usually people don't space out their things that well and you can just punish. I think the character that has the easiest time punishing it is probably Robo, because of her crouching medium kick being so good and counting as a sweep. Also, her... Oh, I already told you about her, so that skeleton is just great. Let's go into why the health cost is not that steep, because this droplet, I hit you a bunch, I'm hitting you, I keep hitting you. I have very little health. If I grab those droplets, my health comes back. That is really good. That's basically how you do it. But you might say, and this is the segue, but it's kind of hard to get the blood. Like, I need to go back into Eliza with the skeleton and then go for the blood. That's pretty hard. Yes, but she has super now in this form, which teleports Eliza's body back and immediately puts you in front. And the super brings out more blood and you can combo from it. So you can do something like this and just go back for your blood and you got your health back once again, which is really, really nice. This is why Eliza is skeleton is useful now. Before, it was just a meter cost, and you just lost a resource, and that's all you did. You lost a resource. which was bad, and that's why I didn't even mention it in my previous video. But now you have one super. Another super is like her finisher super, or circle forward 2 punches. You know, it does quite a bit of damage, and also puts you full screen, which is not that great with Eliza, but it might be great for some DHCs, depending on what characters you want to play. But this is basically her damaging ender. She also has a super in the air. All these supers have startup, and you won't mash out with these supers. They are highly vulnerable on startup, and you will get stuffed if you try to use them as reversals. You can't use them as reversals. This is like your Hearth knockdown super. It's kind of like the utility of it. You can also confirm like if your green on this Z meter is already full and you cannot continue the combo to your super on the ground. You can do this air super and DHC immediately to get her out safely. So that's mainly what it's used for. And her level 3 is a damaging super that you can combo from. I didn't do it. Let's try to do it again. Usually people just do crouching medium kick to confirm, so let's just start mashing that. There you go, combo. But I do like going into the DP instead. In a lot of situations, and the timing is a little more strict because it's an actual like input you have to do, an actual motion. But just with a little bit of practice, you'll be able to do it consistently, no problem. So that's what this super is for. Also, if you get like, let's do a simple BMB. Let's just go like, and imagine I hit the other assist. So I hit the other assist. I'm already at mid screen, so instead of going into that, after this I could go into this and immediately go into snapback, double snapback. Like, even from full screen, it is possible with the level 3 to get to the corner and snap back for a double snap back and kill an opponent's assist. That's mainly what I use it for, honestly. For either damage, I'm putting out damage and I want to kill you right now with Eliza without tagging her out. Or I hit one of your assists, I'm doing a happy birthday, I'm close enough to the corner. This level 3, because it does so much damage, it's highly likely that I will kill the point character. And then, like, it's, if you kill the point character, you don't even need to snap back. You just need to do the DP and go into your double snapback combo, which Eliza has like the easiest double snapback of all time. So there you go. That's mainly what I use that level 3 for. It's really good when you pull it off and it's super hype. So let's go into neutral. So in neutral, as I said, this is a trap. But now you can actually reverse trap it. Because of Skeleton, you can call out Skeleton in the air. You can be like, oh look, I'm being unsafe right now. Oh, you tried to actually come forward? You are trying to approach me? And after this, even if it doesn't hit on whiff, you can go into the overhead immediately. And if it hits, you know, it's possible to actually combo from it. You lose a little bit of life there, but then you just like gained screen advantage. That's really good. This was her biggest weakness. Her air approach was pretty unsafe. It's still not safe, it's still risky, but now you can actually, how do you call it, not risk, it's, you know, threaten your opponent. You can threaten your opponent in neutral really hard with Skeleton now, which is really nice. And if you're close and really up in the air, oh, I'm just gonna drop in with an overhead if you're smashing or something, you know? Or you can also go into this one, that combos low to the ground, but high up in the air, it doesn't combo, as you just saw. But this always combos, so this is probably what goes the furthest. You go into, oh, I'm being unsafe? Not really. And if they get hit, you can go into the heavy Skeleton. And if you know, you whiff or they block, you can drop with the armored overhand and immediately backdash to be safe if they block it. Or you can just risk it for the biscuit and try to actually combo aside. Just right after you do that, you are actually threatening the opponent to neutral ramp. And because this one was actually, as I said before, this one was actually sped up a little bit, you also are able to threaten the opponent a little bit more on the ground. On the ground, she was also pretty threatening because of her forward dash into crouching light kick on the ground. Her crouching light kick, as I said, goes pretty far, so you could catch a lot of opponents like trying to back up with this. You can catch up backs like that in neutral, and you know, she's just pretty good right now in neutral. She doesn't have oppressive neutral, but you are now threatening all the time. All the time you're threatening with something. At any time you could just come out with skeleton and convert to crazy damage. So, in my opinion, this was her biggest weakness, because even if she has bad defense, she's not the only character with bad defense in the game, but even if the other characters have bad defense, their neutral was pretty great. So now, Eliza, I think she's really good in this game, very tournament viable, nothing wrong with her, just a couple weaknesses. So that's basically the idea for her neutral. Combo I already showed you, this is just a very simple, I do have a combo video. Let's just go into the simplest version. I do this combo, which I will go into some setups right now. Like, this is just a regular combo. It's not optimized. It's not the it's not the optimal combo. Most optimal is redundant, but it does good damage. And the most important part for me is that you're not using your pink bounce at all, meaning you can do something like this. You just do your combo, and you can finish it with other things like this. Boom. If you do that without the opponent having used the red bounce, even if the opponent hits the ground and they press a button, they will burst, and you will have done a burst bait. They actually have to eat that. There's nothing they can do about that. That's a hard knockdown. That's a burst bait hard knockdown, which is really great, which is why I specifically do this combo instead of the combo people do with this, and then they go into it, you know? I don't do that combo even if it does not that much damage, like 200 probably more damage, but I do that because of that specific setup. So that's your combo. For resets, she has pretty good resets. Her instant overhead with light kick is pretty good. After you do a restand from the VMB I showed you, you can go into that and cross up immediately, which is really great. If your opponent is doing like blocking your overheads like this and then blocking your lows here, you can just try to catch them off guard with, instead of going into your low, letting yourself drop, you can go into this and immediately go into your like crazy skeleton combos. And you can actually pick that up and go into the super, go back into Eliza, do the... It will not be a hard knockdown, but you can finish with this, so you create distance and actually go forward and get your life back right there. And it does quite a bit of damage if you do that, so that is really good. That's one of her resets for burst baits. You can also do something cheeky after this. You can immediately instant air dash with light punch, and that's a cross under. Like, if you make them respect the cross under, because you cannot match this cross under with most characters. With some lighter characters, you actually have to go into medium punch, but with heavier characters with light punch, it's enough. Once you make them respect that, because they will usually try to, you can try to go into something a little more cheeky. Same side, just hold back and you will same side them and doing a low, which is really nice. There you go, same side. So you can just cross up or same side them. You can actually cross under them, and you can... Its timing's a little tight. It's a little tight. I haven't been practicing that much with Eliza or the game anymore. But you can cross them up and air grab them, which they cannot mash out of that. That is basically a meaty. And basically that catches everyone at least once. Like, no one does that. Everyone is caught at least once. And over here, like in the corner, you can go for something like, you know, like you do this, fall, and meaty them with an overhead. But you can also cancel it into another overhead. Which, if you cancel it like that, you cannot combo from it, so you need to press medium punch, so that's a forced triple overhead. But then you can be like, oh, you expect the triple overhead. Are you going to expect the I am bad at this. I am bad at this. Can you expect the quadruple overhead? Can you expect that? So, quadruple overhead. That is a combo if it actually hits. Which is really, really nice. You can also do that if you go for the... There you go. If you go for the cross-up mid-screen, you can actually go for that overhead too. It's pretty crazy. You can... let's do... On upcoming, I think that's what people call it. And incoming, that's what you call it. Her medium punch basically becomes a 50-50. Most people will usually expect a cross under with this. So that was same side. Same side. I have lost practice with this. Cross under. I forgot to talk about her grab. So her grab, you can combo from it like this. And if you use your pink bounce because you're too close to the corner, you can do it the super to actually keep them on the ground and combo from there. But if you are not actually, if you're actually mid-screen, not close to the corner, you can do that and not spend your pink bounce. Just really nice. So that's your grab. Her grab goes pretty far. You can combo from it. You have to be aware of your screen position though, and in the air the grab is just, if you have your air dash, you can immediately air dash and do this to not use your pink bounce. But if you do not have your air dash, you can just drop and do crouching medium kick, and you can combo from that pretty easily. Instead of going to the further burst speed, you can because this has a lot of startup, you can go cancel the startup with a forward dash and try to catch them with a grab. Like if you pump them up, do that. There you go. And you might catch them off guard with that reset. Those are the reset ideas I can give you. So her game plan is she does not want to be that far. That's why she has these tools to get you close. She has this tool so you cannot get into your rhythm as a zoner. And she wants to be like at this distance, or if you're far, you want to be in the air and trying to catch your opponent maybe with a risky skeleton. Because Eliza excels at, I hit you with a stray, you are dying now, your health bar will just explode. That is her basic game plan. You want to be like around here to whatchamacallit, to threaten skeleton, a little bit closer to actually threaten with more easily convertible things, and even a pretty far away instant overhead. It's not instant overhead, but an air dash overhead, which is pretty nice combo from. So this is her game plan. She wants to be here. She wants to use skeleton to threaten you and hit you with a stray and convert into heavy damage. And if she's close, she just wants to keep up the pressure. Like, she can keep up the pressure really well. And now that we're in the game plan, I can actually show you that's a really good one. This is something that not that many people do, but people still do. Is if you use your macro for your DP, I can do this. You know, I can DP with a DP assist at the same time if you just use your macro. kinda have to check what's the best, because if I do it with... There are several ways to call assist, and all of the ways are basically diagonals with your lights and medium, with your punches and kicks. Like, you have to diagonally do light punch and medium kick or heavy kick. Like, you can see them on the left there, what I'm pressing. And you can change your macro on help and options controls, and this is where you change your macro. I change my macros for specific teams I use, so you can do things like this. I can do the... If you would just... You could do the first one into the DP, or the second one into DP, which I usually do the second one with Robo Fortune. That's what I usually do. Because with Robo Fortune, like, they push block, and this might usually catch them. And I actually do Theonite Beam, but just Theonite Beam covers and it allows me to keep up pressure. So it's kind of busted. And they push block me, I do this, catch them, and continue my pressure. That's how I usually end up my block strings if they push block me. Just this. And you just gotta hold that. It's insanely good. You get covered. Some characters can actually punish with supers, so you gotta be careful if your opponent knows that. So as for matchups, let's go into character select screen. As for matchups, Eliza is a little weird. I don't think she has that many losing matchups, but she doesn't really have that many winning matchups. But to be honest, the characters that have like that people actually talk about their winning matchups are Peacock and Misfortune. That's the characters people talk about when they talk about matchups in this game, basically. They go, oh, this character has a bad matchup against Peacock. Or, oh, not Robo. Oh, Misfortune has a good matchup against these other characters. That's usually what you hear. There is not much else to hear in Skullgirls. So, Eliza will struggle against characters that like to be in the air a little bit defensively. Now not so much because Skeleton in the air is really good, but on defense, if your opponent likes being in the air and their character enables them to be in the air really well, Eliza will have some trouble with that. Also, Eliza has a little bit of trouble with zoners because even if her heavy kick, her sweep, her boat has armor against projectiles, it has quite a bit of startup, 28.4 frames, which is not fast enough to just throw it. You actually need to think and see the pattern your opponent is doing with their zoning and do it at the right time. That's basically it. She also has bad matchups against some assists because, as you see, if they're covering their approach under pressure with assist, Eliza does not have the best reversals. And if the opponent likes to be in the air, counter enables them to be in the air, Eliza will have trouble with that. That's basically what you need to look out for in matchups. So, let me know what you guys think. This video is super long, and I'll see you next time.